Liverpool just taught people a valuable lesson in the pain of hate watching. Now, me personally, to remain objective on my channel, I do not hate watch anymore. Would have liked to draw out of that. Not fuming though, like a certain someone. Like I said, like a certain someone. Now that is hilarious. Anyway, listen, let's talk about the game. Credit to Liverpool for getting the 3 points, but were they lucky? Yes, very lucky. Didn't like what I saw from Wirtz. Didn't like what I saw from Kirkes. And if I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm worried. Even though you're at home, I'm worried about the Arsenal game. I'm worried because of the set pieces. You guys on set pieces look absolutely mid. Arne Slot is going to have you lot practicing defending them because you know what Arsenal are like. You know what Declan Rice's deliveries can be like. So you just have to be happy to leave with all 3 points. It doesn't even matter how it happened, bro. It could have been Pope running past the ball and accidentally backheeling it into the net. The 3 points is the 3 points. People can call you lucky. People can say Newcastle were naive and stupid and too desperate for the win. And that's what cost them the 3 points. But that is what champions are made of. And as much as I would have loved to have seen a draw, like I said, because it would have been great for us, Arsenal simply have to go and do their job next week. This is clearly a Liverpool side that is still getting used to playing, games with each other and everything. And, it will come with time. I think Slot adapted a group where they were used to, playing with each other, although albeit he didn't make any signings, they were still used to gelling with each other. The only thing they incorporated was giving the ball to Salah, hoofing the ball to Salah, and that worked for them because they won the league by hoofing the ball to Salah. Again, if it works, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I can't even knock it. I would be clamoring for Arsenal to do the same thing for one of our players. We have our set pieces. Liverpool have their outlet, which is Mohamed Salah on the counter-attacks. It is where it is. You got to get the 3 points, and that's all that matters. We saw it at Old Trafford with Arsenal. So as salty as people will be, and people will be like, Liverpool are lucky, this, that, and the third. If they end up winning the league this season by 1 point, who's really going to care? Because they're still champions anyway. That's why I don't care about, too much about the performance of the big teams in the big games. As long as they get the 3 points, that's all that matters. You can say, but 10-man Newcastle, they're not looking confident. They're not going to be thinking about that right now. They're going to be thinking about the 3 points. Rio's going to be a happy boy. And Liverpool fans, don't even try. Don't even start the Dauman comparisons. He's like 2 years older than Dauman, or like a year and a half older than Dauman. So don't do that. I know you're all going to be giddy and excited and everything. It doesn't mean, he's clear or he's this or he's that. Please don't feed into the Twitter narratives. And I'm not saying Dauman's clear of Rio either. They are both 15 and 16 respectively. Allow them to actually become paid professional footballers before you start these debates. Anyway, very happy for him being a youngster. First Premier League game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken correctly. Insane composure, because I saw Esteval, Andrea Santos, I saw them skying shots, misplacing passes at home. So I have to give him credit, because although it's a tap in or like an easy finish, the composure of somebody that age to do that shows that he's ready to at least play at this level amongst people that are way older than him. And, that's what dreams are made of. So I hand it off to him. I like when younger players come into the league and they announce themselves, and he did just that. So I have nothing negative to say about that. Terrible defending from Newcastle, and he capitalised. I can't be mad at that. If it was Dauman doing that, I would be going absolutely insane as well. So hats off to him, and I'm sure Liverpool fans are excited because there was that hype before, and now it's translating into the league, and he won them all 3 points, and he kept their perfect record. Now, on a defensive aspect, Liverpool do not look good at all. They have conceded 4 goals in 2 games. One of those against a team that was down to 10 men. If I'm Liverpool, I'm wondering how I can sharpen that defensive training heading into the Arsenal game, albeit at home, and your fans are going to be up for it. It's going to be different. Arsenal might be a bit shaky or cagey at first, but needless to say, your players will be up for that game more than they kind of went into their show in the second half at St. James's Park. So I think you lot have to practice defending set pieces, because Milo Kirkes will get absolutely wiped out of that game Wirtz is going to get wiped out of the game if you guys aren't careful with how you do things next week. Timber will have his way with him. Madueke will have his way with him. And, you know, as much as I like Milo Kerkez, his physicality seems to have dropped severely. It's like when he came to Liverpool, they put him on a different regime or something. And he just doesn't look as strong as he once was. Maybe he needs to beef himself up again. But yeah, he was a weak point. Wirtz was a weak point. Gravenberch, absolutely beautiful goal, by the way. Nick Pope isolated for 2 of those Liverpool goals, but the one by Gravenberch, you just have to hold your hands up and say fair play. Again, Newcastle may have dominated with 10 men, but who cares? Liverpool got the 3 points. I think Szoboszlai was great for the final goal, and I think he had a decent game overall. Didn't really struggle against Barnes like people assumed he would. Any other positives about Liverpool? A lot of it really came from the first half. Pretty sure they had like 4 shots and 3 goals or something ridiculous. Van Dijk was good today. Konate, a worry again. He plays like his head is elsewhere. But Van Dijk, again, another professional, good defensive performance from him individually anyway. Helped a lot on those set pieces, defending those corners, defending those deliveries. Ekitike, he may have got another lucky bounce back, but great finish nonetheless. You can't deny he is good at finishing. That low-driven shot he's got, very, very good at it. Very slick, composed finisher so far. Regardless of how he got the shot, whether it was a bounce back or whatever, he's still, I believe he hit it like maybe after a touch or first time. I'm not going to sit here and say I like what I saw from Liverpool. I didn't, but this is what champions are made of. Ugly performances translate to 3 points. I think Newcastle were silly and they let the occasion get to them, especially Anthony Gordon being sent off. I think Bruno G was lucky to not be sent off, but once he received that yellow, he was a little more cautious. And the stiff tackles that he did put in, he was making sure he was getting to the ball first. Got a goal, helped them get back into the game, but ultimately it didn't mean anything. Who else impressed me from Newcastle today? I think Dan Burn had a good game. Yeah, man, there was a lot of passion merchant ball going on in the second half, and that did bring them back into the game, but ultimately they lost. There's not really much to say on the performance front for Newcastle, because I feel like a lot of the the willing, nature to come back into the game was pure passion and desire. They lost their heads. They have to be criticised for that. But they did well to perform with a man down. And I'm pretty sure they got one of their goals back when Tonali was off the pitch. So they're actually down to 9 men when they got their first goal back from that set-piece delivery. But yeah, man, what's going to happen from here? Are Liverpool going to land Isak? Are they going to dunk on them twice this week? That would be absolutely insane. Can you imagine? Nah, the owners of Newcastle, their egos are too big to allow that to happen, right? Right? I mean, we you never know. You never know. Another thing I wanted to say, Simon Hooper, absolutely officiating like a complete bellend, all right? Newcastle should have had a few yellow cards early on, and this is usually what happens at St. James's Park. It typically, they will put in all these challenges, and the other team will put in one, and the other team will get a yellow card. It happens quite a lot. It happens to Arsenal a lot. And I remember even Bruno G against Jorginho straight up pulled his arm back and whacked Jorginho in the back of his head. Didn't even get a yellow card, didn't get sent off. Intentionally punched him at the back of his head because he couldn't get the ball from him. Didn't get sent off. St. James's Park just has this voodoo type thing going on where the referees are like intimidated or terrified to get a correct decision, but do it early on. In the big games that they play, they just want to let the match flow. But that red card from Anthony Gordon for me was an undeniable red card. It was an absolutely filthy challenge. Socks all the way down, nasty marks on Van Dijk's leg. Red for me, man. I'm sorry. I don't know how there's people saying it's not a red. I mean, your hate watching is blinding you. But yeah, classic Barclays, really. That will go down as one of the games of the season. Reminds me of when Man City done a thing and then Oscar Bob scored a late goal against them as well. It's just like Newcastle lack that discipline, man. Their players are too psyched up, too hyped. Did I say Liverpool? I meant to say Newcastle. Anyway, their players are too psyched up at home. They're too hyped for it. The energy's absolutely insane. And this is what happens when you lose your heads and you're not able to harness it into a good defensive performance. They were playing high press and in a 4-3-2. Absolutely no clue what they were doing towards the end there. But hey, man, it is where it is. It is where it is. GG's to Liverpool for the 3 points. Arnie Slot, I mean, you can say he got his subs right now because Rio came on and scored and won them the 3 points towards the end. But I'm looking forward to the Anfield game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. And Liverpool try not to concede set pieces to Arsenal because Arsenal would have been watching that. Arteta will be replaying that game at some point tomorrow or during the week, and we will know where to target you. But yeah, man, good 3 points for Liverpool. They're not going to care about the performance. They got the 3 points, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.